From primary school to sell-out concerts. It's going to happen one of these days. Voice like yours, got to.
Well, it's one of the best I've ever heard.
That's some of Back to Black. It's Hollywood's newest music biopic, putting the Amy Winehouse story on the big screen, following her rise to fame until her death at the age of 27. And Eli Glasner is here with us now to break down this film. We always knew the backstory had to be interesting, but where does it start? Where do you even start with the story?
Starts in her family home. She was Jewish. It might be a Friday night. They're sitting around the dinner table. They're having a laugh. They're singing songs. Her father's crooning old songs. Her nan is talking about her glory days as a party girl, had the same kind of beehive. You start to think, okay, maybe that's a bit of the influence. And then Amy sings for the family and everything stops. And it's a reminder of just how special she was. Now, the director of this is Sam Taylor Johnson. She did a biopic on a young John Lennon called Nowhere Boy. She says for this, she really wants to focus on Amy's talent. Now, we see Amy doing, of course, some singing and a little bit of scribbling in diaries, but the movie really comes to life around the love of her life, Blake, the local rabble-rouser at the pub. So here's Amy. Her career's just starting off. She's knocking back pints. He's playing pool. Taylor Johnson says she took 3 days to shoot this fateful, flirtatious sequence, and you can tell because it sings. Now, Marisa Abuela plays Amy as someone she's headstrong, she knows fools, but when she sees this guy, Blake, she just plummets. She falls hard for the guy. Jack O'Connell is playing Blake. He's the bad boy, but he's so good, so handsome. He looks like a Fred Perry cover model, and he's actually a fan of Amy's music. Now, this film has the temerity to suggest that it was Blake that put into Amy's mind the idea of the Shangri-Las and introducing her to the old-fashioned rock and roll sound that she emulated. Now, Blake was responsible for a lot of things, including, unfortunately, introducing Amy to hard drugs. But it was actually, if you listen to Amy's friends, Amy herself, her broken but very romantic soul that was attracted to that special sound.
I'm interested in the music, because you mentioned there when she started singing, right? It's such a unique sound. It's so recognizable. So how does the movie then sort of replicate that?
And this is what's really interesting. The director, Sam Taylor Johnson, made a choice. She did not want to use the actual music of Amy Winehouse. So the actor, Marisa Abuela, is performing herself. She's a great singer, and she's obviously done the work to try and like that very special kind of sound, a bit of that Camden Town accent, that nasal quality. I'm going to actually play you a little compare and contrast. So here is a portion from the film as Amy's career is just starting to get going. Take a look.
You should be stronger than me. You should be stronger than me. You should be stronger than me.
All right, so pretty good, right? But now, let me play you a treat. This is the real deal from 2004, Amy Winehouse's first time in the Netherlands at the North Sea Music Festival. Same song, but take a listen.
You should be stronger than me. Yeah, you should be strong. Yeah, hey, hey, hey. Oh, oh, ba, 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 ba. You should be stronger than me. Yeah, you should be stronger than me.
That's the thing, is the movie, like, it works as kind of like a nice karaoke version, and then if you listen to the real deal, you go, oh yeah. There was an X factor that is missing. Now, that's a choice, and that's a choice that a movie and an actor will make. That is not really my biggest issue, because so many movies about artists skip over the part of the art. And Sam Taylor Johnson said she really wanted to make this movie about Amy's talent, but we don't see enough of, like, where did that sound, where did those songs come from? We see, like, occasionally she's strumming a guitar, occasionally she's scribbling in a notebook, but so much of it, just music just arrives, and they skip over one of the most important parts where she met Mark Ronson, and in 2006, they made that seminal album, Back to Black. Ronson doesn't even have a speaking part in this film. The album just kind of arrives.
Wow.
Instead, it is very much about her struggle with addiction and this really destructive codependent relationship with her husband. Blake, take a look.
I want to be a wife. I want to be a mum.
Probably run off with someone famous anyway.
You're my heartbeat, you're my soul. I love you.
I don't bang out tenets by lunch. I need to live my songs. So that's what I'm going to go and do.
Now, there's been a lot of talk in Britain that the movie treats the father, who's played by Eddie Marzan, a little too lightly, and he may or may not have been involved in the film. Some see him in real life as being somewhat responsible of really leeching off Winehouse's fame instead of, like, getting involved when you saw things were really going downhill. But instead, the film, for the last third, really becomes kind of unfortunate, kind of predictable, slippery slope down that plummet of addiction. Now, movies about addiction are so difficult, right? Like, whether it's fictional or a documentary, how do you really capture that? But I do feel in trying to celebrate Amy's talent, it really avoids the hard questions of, like, what really was she running from? What was she, why did she flee to alcohol and hard drugs at a time when she was so successful at the height of her game? What we're watching right now, though, is the real story. And as much as I'm disappointed by this film, you can watch for free right now on CBC Gem. The movie is called Amy. This is a documentary. This is an Oscar-winning documentary, and it is told in Amy's own words with intimate interviews, and it is as raw and real as that unmistakable voice.
Okay, so is this a yes, 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 or a no, no, no?
This is kind of a fine, okay, middling, and mediocre. So let's take a look at my star rating. Yeah, 2.5. Okay. 2.5 stars. I mean, it's okay maybe, as an introduction. If you're anything like me, it will remind you of who she was, but then you'll just want more of the real deal, and it's missing that essence.
Missed the process.
Yeah, yeah, very much so.
Got to the point in the end. Okay, thanks for this, Eli.
You're welcome.
That's CBC's Eli Glasner.